Alnola ponesa beseo varikufayo Jesu anemuta kuponesa kana vamuramba arikumira amirira bese kugashira.
How are you, dear friends? It's a pleasure to meet you as we discuss issues related to our salvation. It's exciting to talk about issues of salvation. And today, we have a very exciting topic, a topic that has been shelved in most of the discourses that I usually hear. It is the discussion on the second coming of Christ. The second coming of Christ. You know, of all the teachings, one of the most incredible teachings is the coming of Christ, the second coming of Christ. It is difficult to sustain scientifically. It is a teaching that does not conform to empirical evidence. That is why most theologians would always try to avoid this topic because it does not dovetail with the modern mind. This topic does not dovetail with the modern mind. Actually, there are two of these major topics. The first one is creation, the beginning, the first chapters of Genesis. These are chapters that are incredible, outrageous in their claims. They claim that God created the world out of nothing, and this does not harmonize with the theories of evolution and with some or most of the modern thinking. And the other issue is the second coming of Christ. The other topics which we have in the Christian church, ethics, that people have to live upright lives. Many people have embraced those teachings, and when they talk about Jesus, they see him as a great moral teacher, somebody who taught truths that are valuable for life. But the topic which is difficult is this one, that Christ is coming again. And I want to declare, I want to say it very plainly and very boldly. If Christ is not coming again, all the teachings that we have in the Bible have no meaning. We can teach each other good family life, that we should live together happily, we should live as a united family, but if this does not ultimate in the second coming of Christ, this is a futile teaching. Why? Because people who don't worship, they also teach family life. They also teach us to love one another, to be kind and gentle to each other. But their teachings are not quoted with the second coming of Christ. We have teachings which are very, very nice. We should prefer justice, moral justice. Very good teaching. But if this teaching does not ultimate in the second coming of Christ, then this is a futile teaching, because there are people who have discussed justice eloquently without the second coming of Christ. So Christian teachings must confluence in the second coming of Christ. This is the confluence of the Christian teachings. All of them must crystallize in the second coming of Christ. Without the second coming of Christ, these teachings have no meaning. And let's enjoy this teaching, that Christ is coming again. And when Christ says he is coming, he does not use the future tense. For sure, if you go to John 14, there is a future tense. But today, we want to talk about it as a present reality. Let's go together. Revelation 1, verse 7. Revelation 1, verse 7. We are told in Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, behold, ye cometh. Behold, he cometh with the clouds. Behold, he cometh. This is an introduction to something great. Behold. Behold. Open your eyes. And if we're to capture this in our own languages here in Zimbabwe, if we're to capture it in Shona, we would use the word Yezo. This is a declaration that something stupendous, something outrageous, something great, something unusual is about to happen. Yezo. Yes, if we're to say it in Ndebele, we would say Woboya. Woboya. And he does not use the future tense. It doesn't say, behold, he will come. No. Even if you go to the original languages, if you go to Greek, it's also in the present tense. It's captured properly in English. It is present. Behold, he cometh. Behold. Look up. Why? Because he cometh. Yezo oya. Woboya. Weza. Behold, he cometh. When is He coming. The process is started. The process of his coming has started. Why has that process started? The process started when he came here for the first time. He came here. He was sent. John 3 verse 16. We are told, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He gave his only begotten son. And after he was given, he came here. He is the coming one. When John talks about him, he talks about him as the coming one. Actually, we can give Christ this title, the coming one. Mark 1 verse 7. He says, he who comes after me, the one coming. We have the same in John 1 verse 27. Also in Mark 13:11, we have this idea of one who is coming. So he has come. He came for the first time. And this first coming, it ushered the second coming. The process of his second coming has begun. It began with his first coming. And when he came here upon this earth. He came. We had been misled by the evil one. We were married to God, and we became adulterous. We married another when our husband was still there. But God, out of his love, he sent his son. And we had a new covenant. And this new covenant, it was a new marriage. He married us to himself. We were married to him. When we got married, he said, after we had been married, in John 14, verses 1 to 3, he said, let not your hearts be troubled. I'm telling you as my bride. And this is nuptial language. What is nuptial language? It is language of marriage language. Christ says, let not your hearts be troubled. We're already married. I have paid the bride price for you. I came here to marry you. And I have paid the bride price. I have done everything. I have paid Chivuramromo, that price that you pay for opening your mouth. He says, I have paid that. I have paid Matekenyanjevu. I have paid that. I have paid everything. You are now mine. You are mine. I have paid for you. But now I am going. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in me. I am trustworthy. Why? Because I came to pay the bride price for you. I gave my life for you. So don't worry. I am coming again. And what is happening now? I am going to prepare a place for you. You see, in the ancient Near East, when a bride would get married, the groom would come marry her at her place. After he has married her, then he makes the trip back to his home without his bride. He goes there to prepare a place for his bride. Actually, we used to have the same in our culture here in Zimbabwe. We would have two ceremonies. One at the place of the bride, the second ceremony at the place of the groom, because our practices generally are very much close to the ancient Near East. So the bride, the groom actually, would come, make marry. After he has married his bride, he travels to his home to prepare the place for the bride and the bridal party to come and be with him where he will be staying. And this is where the whole celebration would end. So the process has started. Behold, he cometh. The process of the second coming has started. It's not like something which is so much future that we look at it as something futuristic and forget that this process has started. The marriage has started. The wedding has started. We are just entering the door where people are checking whether are you invited into the wedding. This is the process that is going on right now. So what have we to do? Ours is to behold. He cometh now. Not tomorrow, now. And what are the signs? What are the very signs that he is coming? What are the signs? I want to outline a few of those signs that convince me that his coming is imminent. And one of those signs that I want to bring to your attention is a paradox. It's a paradoxical sign. And when we go to Matthew 25, we have the parable of the 10 virgins. And the bridegroom tarried. That's what we are told. The bridegroom tarried. And one of the signs that he is coming is the tarrying. He said he will tarry. And because of tarrying, he wondered if he will still find faith on earth. Will the Son of Man, Luke 18 verse 8, will he still find faith upon this earth? Will he? He tarries. And this tarrying, this delay is part of those signs that the Son of Man is coming. If you want to know that he is coming, it's because he has not yet come. He has started coming, but he has not yet arrived. That is one of the signs. Many have seen this as the stupidity of Christianity. Samuel Beckett writes his book entitled Waiting for Godot, where he caricatures Christianity, ridicules Christianity, makes Christianity an object of derision, waiting for Godot. And many have seen this hope, this blessed hope, as Titus, as Paul through Titus would say, Titus 2 verse 18. This blessed hope, it has become an object of derision, waiting for Godot. And George Orwell, in his book Animal Farm, he talks about this as sugar candy mountain. Through one of his characters, he talks about it as sugar candy mountain, where the preacher always tells people that there is a place where candy grows on trees And this is a hallucination. And psychologists like Sigmund Freud talk about this as an Oedipus complex, a longing for a father figure, something that does not make sense. And Karl Marx talks about this hope as the opium of the masses. But let me tell you without any equivocation, let me tell you with a lot of boldness, without any fear, without any prevarication, I want to tell you, he is coming. He is coming. Has he tarried? Yes, as he said he will tarry. When you see him tarry, look up and say, Yezo, behold, he cometh. When he has tarried, when he has stayed so long as we sing, when will that day be? The waiting has been so long. As you sing that, look up and say, Yezo, behold, he cometh. Yes, he is coming. When he is coming, our duty is to behold. He is coming. And if he seems to have delayed, yes, that is a sign, one of the potent signs that he is coming. Number two, the second sign this generation we live in. We live in a generation that has seen the fulfillment of prophecies. You know what? When Paul was living, Revelation had not been written. John had not been given the prophecy of Revelation. So Paul died without reading the book of Revelation. Paul doesn't know some of the information that was revealed to John. He died without that. And Daniel was told to seal the book. Why? Close the book, because it is for an age which is yet to come. He died without reading the book of Revelation, without reading the New Testament. Daniel died without reading the New Testament. But we are living at a vantage point. We are told in Revelation chapter 12, verse 6, this woman shall be persecuted for a times and half a time, which is 1,260 days. She will live in persecution. And if you go to Ezekiel 4, verse 6, each day for a year, Numbers 14, verse 34, each day for a year. And when does this begin? It begins, this persecution, it begins in 538 AD. It begins when Emperor Justinian makes the Bishop of Rome the Pontifex Maximus, the one who is in charge of the church. And after he has made him the one who is in charge of the church, the papacy has hegemony, he has ultimate control upon the entire Christendom. And this spans this 1,260 days, which is 1,260 years, beginning from 538 AD, ends in 1798, when General Berthier takes the Pope prisoner. And this is the end where the power that we have, the system that has been power, there is a fatal wound that is that is placed upon the system. And for this reason, we start the time of the end. This is the time after 1798. This ushers the time of the end. From 1798, it is the time of the end. And this also comes close to another prophecy. When you go to Daniel 8, verse 14, we are told, unto 2,300 days, and the sanctuary shall be cleansed. And you go again to scripture, Numbers 4, verse 6, Ezekiel 4, verse 6, Numbers 14, verse 34, we have the same. And this begins in 457 BC with the Edict of Cyrus. And this ends in 1844, the hour of judgment. And we are told in Revelation 14, verse 6, that we have to fear God. Why? Because the hour of his judgment has come. Friends, this is the hour of judgment. You might hate anything, you might hate scripture, you might hate doctrine, but this is the hour of judgment we are living in. God is in the judgment seat, and he has begun the process of judgment. And as judgment has begun, our duty is to look up, for our salvation draweth nigh. Let's look up and say, Hezo, Oya. Behold, he cometh, Oya, Weza. Hezo, Oya. Behold, he cometh. The third sign, it is the general signs that we find in the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 24, we are given the various signs that will happen, the falling of stars and the moon that doesn't give its light. And we have this as we go back 1755, we have the earthquake of Lisbon. And we also have in 1833, we actually prior to that, 1780, we have the sun that does not give its light. 1833, we have the stars that are falling. But these signs have always been happening. They don't start. They've always been happening. Actually, when Christ was giving the prophecy in Matthew 24, this prophecy was talking about what will happen in the immediate future, the fall of Jerusalem. So what is important about this is the wars, they don't start in our age. They've always been war. And these signs, earthquakes, they don't start in our age. They have always been there. Pestilences, they don't start in our age. They have always been there. But what is important about this? What is important is these will be recurring and intensifying in their gravity as we approach the end. The wars that we have had in the past, they have been limited to a smaller geographical location. Their speciality has been limited. They have been within a small place. But the wars that we have had since 1914, what is known as the First World War, for the first time you have an internecine conflict, a conflict that brings together the whole world, a cataclysmic conflict where the whole world converges and they are fighting, and you have millions of people dying in this conflict. Then you go to the Second World War in 1939, also millions die, about 20 million people. And now we are living in fear of a nuclear holocaust. If there can be conflict today, and if somebody were to trigger a nuclear bomb, we shudder to think what could happen. And we have these conflicts, we have these pestilences, and all these should remind us that he is coming. As John tells us, Hezo Oya, behold, he cometh. The process has started. It started when he came here to make the marriage negotiations, and now we are about to enter into his glory. We are about to enter our home. Whatever may be troubling you, you may be going through difficult experiences. You may have lost a loved one. You may be suffering from disease. I don't want to flatter you. I don't want to tell you something that is imaginary. I want to assure you, Christ is coming. He is coming. Not he will come. He is coming because the process has started. Look up. Your salvation draweth nigh. May the Lord be with us.